I'm here with Wali Moses, grandfather and trainer of Shakur Stevenson. Tell me a little bit about how he got started boxing and how you brought him into the game.
Well, it's funny you asked, but back in the day when he was younger, I say somebody 20 years ago, I'll say 18 years ago, he was a baby, and we would watch Friday night at the fights and Tuesday night USA boxing the fights, and one morning, this is even before he walked, he just started, while we were watching boxing, he just started punching. And so, once he started punching, I think everything else took care of itself. I started teaching him the mitts, along with teaching him how to walk, because he was punching before he was walking.
Wow.
And after that, around 5 years old, he was able to do everything before he got 5 in terms of punching. And I took him to the gym, and everything else took care of his place. It was pretty much downhill after that. He quickly adapted to boxing and fell in love with boxing, and it became his life dream.
What was it? What was the first thing you saw in him where you said, wow, this guy's going to be a champion? He's something special.
Well, the first thing I noticed about him when he was playing baseball, I bought him a little pitching machine, and he just went through that, took that by storm. It came really easy for him. So I bought him another modified edition that was a little bit more advanced, and at 4 years old, he started smacking that. So he had a keen eyesight and a keen vision with timing, his eyes and his timing. So he picked that up very well, and by him doing that, and me throwing the ball to him and him able to hit it, and I bought him one that machine automatically pitches, and he went through that like a hot knife on butter too. So that let me know that as far as his skills level, as far as his coordination and timing, was very exceptional.
So he was a baseball player when he was younger?
Baseball, football, he did it all. He did everything.
A very athletic kid.
Yeah.
Were you athletic as well?
Yes.
Around that time, so you played a lot of sports as well?
Yeah. Well, yeah, at the time when he was coming up, I was playing softball with a Hall of Famer, Jimmy Fryer, and quite a few guys, and he traveled with me all the time on weekends, so he was always with me between the gym and the baseball field. He never pretty much got a chance to be out in the streets or be on, but him coming up as a kid came up around athletics, so I would say that, and that really helped him.
I actually spoke about that when I interviewed him. I said he's a very well-adjusted, mannerable young man, and I can't help but to believe that you had a huge role to play in that. Can you talk a little bit about his upbringing and how you kept him on the straight and narrow?
Well,
and focused.
What I find truly amazing that he was never really interested in doing things that weren't enhancing his skill or trying to make him a better person as an individual. I mean, he didn't grow up perfect. He just like any other kid, went through the things that other kids went through. But the thing I didn't have to worry about him is being in the streets. That wasn't his thing. He never wanted to be in the streets, never wanted to hang out in the streets or be out with the in crowd or anything like that. He stayed in the gym out, I was training fighters at the time, 3 times a day, and he would go to the gym with me 3 times a day, and, got to the point where I would take him to the gym as he got older. I would not have to take him to the gym. He made it to the gym on his own. And after those days, we got involved with USA Boxing, and we hit the road internationally, and next thing you know, he's winning every tournament that we ever been in. Only tournament that we ever lost was never lost was the ones that we weren't in. But any other tournament he won. And when we started boxing internationally, he started winning every tournament, especially in Russia. We've been in about 5 different parts of Russia, and he won every tournament. And got to a point where the Russians, a guy here in New York, from Gleason's Gym, told me that the guys from Russia were, really planning on defeating Shakur,
Wow, that was the man to beat.
Yeah. And I think what really helped his professional career is going through that international experience where though the guys were holding him and throwing him down and hitting him behind after the bell and some everything. And he had to go through all that, and he went through that with flying colors, because internationally while I was his coach, he's never lost a round. So that's pretty much, a big accomplishment, when you're in world competition and you don't lose a single round. So between that and those things and the competition that he faced and all the adversity of competition that he faced really made me realize that he was something special.
How do you think the amateurs has prepared him for the pros?
Well, like I said, internationally, especially in Russia, all the parts of Russia want to defeat him because he's won every major tournament in Russia, and I think that that attributed him to winning the AIBA Boxer of the Year because, the Russian community respected him so well, and highly regarded him. So I think that helped him, in his endeavors of becoming a professional. And I think, overall, his attitude for the game, he just adapted. The way things were going, he just went right with the flow, and it just seemed like once he said to me, "Papa, I'm married to boxing," everything pretty much took care of itself.
Yeah. He said he actually spars 15 rounds as well. There's a little old school training. Was that per your suggestion or?
Well, he sparred 15 rounds many a time, but he know I wouldn't let him box as long when I was young, but I've actually snuck and watched him box for 24 rounds.
24 rounds straight?
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah. Well, just this camp in preparation, we went through, he sparred 9 rounds, then he done a 1,210 punch drill, and then he done what we call a 3-on-3 exercise after that, where he actually threw well over 2,000 punches after going 9 rounds. So he's been used to moving his hands like this for a long time.
So his conditioning is just on another level.
Well, he can't actually, believe it or not, you may call me harsh, but I trained him like he was a little professional. So the training part was the easiest part. I think I always told him, man, the hardest part is the training, and you want to train so hard that it make the fighting aspect easy for you. And that's what he does, and that's what he's done, and that's what's carrying him now.